I'm Shannon Webster. I'm a freshman at Marquette University, and I have cerebral palsy. When I was born, there was like brain damage due to lack of oxygen in my brain sometime between like me being inside my mom or like during delivery or sometime in between there. They don't really know. I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy with spastic dysplasia at the age of 2. I've had 5 reconstructive surgeries on my legs because cerebral palsy only affects my lower half. So only part of my brain that affects the lower half was damaged. Spastic dysplasia, I don't know what that means, but I just know that like you have like low tone in your muscles, and that's why you can't like strengthen your muscles, so you can't walk properly. And it's a milder form of cerebral palsy, meaning it ranges from like being able to walk with mild assistance to being confined in a wheelchair, and I'm lucky enough to be able to walk around with some obvious physical limitations, but I managed through them with a lot of help from a lot of people.
At 4 months, you're supposed to be like sitting up. Well, she didn't sit up, and 9 months you should be rolling over. She didn't roll over. So then you went to the program at Lutheran General Hospital that they monitor her like every 3 months for her development, and just then start working on therapy.
We would stretch, and like during gym class, she would just come and we would do our little physical therapy session. Just incorporating daily life skills, like going up and down the stairs without using the railing, and walking outside, like walking around the block, and just things that people take for granted, I guess, we're more focused on.
We just kind of forced her to work hard, and my mom always thought we were being mean to her because we just kind of like, I think, really pushed her and wanted, you know, the best, and for her to be able to be an independent walker without, you know, a wheelchair or a walker.
My mom has been my all-time advocate, and she still is to this day, so without her, we wouldn't have, you know, the stylish braces or, you know, to fit in the stylish shoes. It's all about the little things in life that, you know, your family appreciates.
You know, they really didn't tell us a whole lot. They almost let us learn for ourselves what the condition meant. So they didn't know how severe or limiting, you know, her CP was. So it was pretty much a new experience for us, and really no one really put any preconceived notions on what that really meant for us, to be honest.
I don't know, we never looked at her any differently, and I think we just wanted the best.
I just thought, you know, all the kindergartners went to school with 2 hot pink casts and their legs sticking straight out. My first experience with the Segway was in high school when my adaptive PE teacher, Mrs. Adamatis, she said to me, "How would you like to ride a Segway?" And I said, "Oh, what is a Segway?" Like, I knew what they were, but I never really thought I could ride one. And the district, my school's district, donated or got a Segway donated to them by the Lions Club of Naperville, and no one else wanted to use it, so of course I'm always wanting to try new things, and I signed up and I got this little tutorial about how to use it, and I fell in love. My family was gracious enough to buy me a Segway without any insurance, or because it's honestly it's for medical use. It's not for, oh, let's just have a party and buy a bunch of Segways. I mean, it's fun, but it's mainly used for getting from point A to point B. Going to college for me was the hardest decision I've ever made. Harder than having 5 surgeries and harder than being in life or death situation or being killed by a physical therapist every day. It's harder. It's the most hard and the most rewarding decision I've made thus far in my life, and I feel like I'm learning more about myself and what I can do despite my disability and despite what people tell me I can do. I want to prove them wrong, and I want to prove to them that I can do it, and being at Marquette is helping me prove that.
We like talked about it like ever since she was like a junior. Like, I think we just talked about it so much, and you prepare so much, so like you're at the point where it's like, okay, we've like talked about it so much and done everything we've had to do to get her, you know, ready, that it was just like, okay, then it's just time to let her go.
To go to college, I
to
guess.
spread her wings, I guess.
So for a student with a physical disability, it is often that we have to ensure that they can get to and from their classes, and that when they're in their classes, they have available to them what they need to be comfortable in the class.
I didn't know how she was gonna, you know, be independent and do everything and kind of manage a big campus and, you know, in the city, and then we had to worry about how she was gonna get around with the wheelchair or the Segway, and it all came together, you know, I think just with, you know,
some divine intervention or something. I usually wake up like about an hour before I have to be ready, depending on how much I want to be ready. But usually depending on like what kind of day it is, like if it's snowy or like yesterday morning, I was a little leery about going outside, but you could barely see yesterday morning. But just depending on like what my like day is like and how what kind of shoes I want to wear. And I feel like my Segway is getting all dirty now from the snow and needs to go in a car wash or something. We get to go in the back and all the way around where there's barely enough room for me to get through, but we make it.
Sometimes things happen we can't control, like an elevator going down, and the student can't therefore get to third floor.
I don't think this thing is actually going to be coming here. This is the longest I've ever taken.
You have an elevator only takes you to the first floor and then there's stairs.
We really don't have a difficulty with teachers being accommodating. They are often more than accommodating.
Well, I can help you get out if you want. You're just going to have to pick.
But I don't want, like, how would I get my Segway?
Well, how heavy is it? That is great, right?
No.
And can you get out that way with it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Life is harder, but yet the challenges make it exciting. I like to think that, like, the challenges that my CP brings me or my disability brings me is what makes life exciting, and no day is the same, because no day, you know, has the same, you know, challenges and expectations, but I definitely think that life is harder, but also it's definitely richer in blessings and more unique experiences that I wouldn't have got to have if I wouldn't have had CP. So. It is something different, and people aren't used to like looking at a girl riding on a Segway, and it always catches their eye. So I would like to, you know, make that a positive thing rather than a negative thing. Oh, like so-and-so was like staring at me like in the mall, and like Colleen's like, my sister Colleen would be like, don't worry about it, like whatever, you just keep going. But I guess I'm not like really aware of it anymore. I kind of just block it out. Even if they do stare at me, I don't really notice. Unless it's like obvious, like someone's staring at me for like 10 minutes, and then you wonder, okay, are they staring at me because they think I'm cute, or because I'm wearing braces, or what is the deal? But there's a different kind of stare when you're staring at someone on a Segway because you think it's cool, and then you're staring at someone who's in a wheelchair because you feel sorry for them, or because you are not envious of them, but obviously, but because that's not normally what you see. I was homecoming queen, and when that was a shock to me to begin with, because who am I to stand up with all these people who are gorgeous and nice and all that stuff, and why would people think anything of me to nominate me for homecoming queen? It's like, oh my gosh. But anyway, so I didn't get asked to homecoming, and I was the queen, and so I went with my friend, and that was kind of like, it still kind of like hurts me that like no one wanted to take the homecoming queen to homecoming, even though I have. Obviously they were accepting of me as a person because they voted for me, but yet no one would step outside the box and be like, hey, I want to take you to the dance. I haven't dated per se, I haven't had a boyfriend or anything like that, but I have guy friends, and I just think, my mom always says, you know, there's someone for everyone, and your guy is out there. I honestly don't, it doesn't come to mind like, oh, someone wouldn't want me because I have CP. That doesn't really cross my mind at first. I mean, it does eventually, but I think that they should be attracted to me because of who I am as a person, not because of what I can or cannot do, because obviously, like, you don't stay with someone because of their looks. You stay with them because they're a nice person and because you enjoy being with them. So hopefully someone will find out that they like me or they're interested in me, and maybe I'll get married one day. I mean, that's every girl's dream, and I'm just like every other girl, except I come riding a Segway instead of, walking down the street. Starting a career-ish, and like I feel like that's always going to be like in the forefront or in the back of my mind, like thinking, well, are they not hiring me because of my disability, or are they not hiring me because I'm not doing what is asked of me? So everything is so cutthroat. That scares me to death because I'm not used to that, because I'm used to people being used to who I am, and I'm more than Shannon Webster with cerebral palsy. I'm just Shannon Webster, the girl. I don't know, not even the girl on the Segway, just regular person, just the girl with the red curly hair. I mean, I climbed a rock wall. I thought that was super cool because in gym class in middle school, they told me, I don't think that's a good idea for you to try. And I was like, it looks pretty fun to me. I was like, it looks pretty fun to me. I want to try it. So lo and behold, when I got to high school, I got to be involved in this great program called Adaptive PE, and Mrs. Adamatis told me, go for it. And it was a class with people with physical and mental disabilities, integrated with regular peers who are quote-unquote normal. But so I climbed a rock wall and I did this high ropes course, and it was the most exciting adrenaline rush thing, and I did that on my own. I did that without anyone's help, and no one told me I couldn't do it. People were just supporting me and cheering me on. But at times it is a sob story. At times I feel like crying and not getting up and watching movies all day and eating Oreos. I mean, like, everyone goes through that, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I could sit every day and be like that, but I choose not to. I don't know. Every person has a story, and compassion is a part of every story, and everyone wants to feel, do you hear me? Do you see me? Does what I'm saying matter to you? And they want to know, do I matter to you? And so, like, being disabled in the world, you try to find your way, and you try to find who you are, and your family helps you find who you are. And I think as a family, they've helped find who I was and who I am as not just a disabled person, but a regular person like everyone else, just trying to fit in. It's on life, and it's not just that I have a disability, but it's the fact that I have a disability and I remain positive about it. And I'm not, some negative Nelly. I'm a positive person, and that's, I guess, who I was born to be, or who I am, or who I became because of cerebral palsy, or in spite of, either way. I could make my voice impact so many people and use my voice to just create hope for other people in their lives. And lo and behold, I'm still doing that and trying to become, the next Oprah. Not the next Oprah, but no one could top her. But I don't know, we'll see what happens.